Hi guys, today I want to talk about Orchid Phalaenopsis specifically, and I also would like to share with you my collection of orchids. I have a few different kind. I am not an expert in orchids, I just have some, and I learned over the years how to take care of them and how to rebloom them. So I would like to share with you, and the reason why I chose to talk about orchids today, because we just got out of February, and as we know, around Valentine's Day there's always a ton of orchids in every store you go. They just flood the stores with them because it seems like they're pretty popular around Valentine's Day. So either you picked one up or somebody got it for you as a gift. A lot of us do end up with orchids, and unfortunately a lot of us don't really know what to do with them. So myself, I started my orchid journey, I want to say about 4 years ago, and not knowing anything about them. And what happened is my mother-in-law, every year she goes away to her vacation home and for the whole summer, and she sends her plants to me to take care of it. Basically, she brings it over, gives it to me, and she says, take care of it, and then she never picks them up. And that's how I started Orchid Journey. Basically, you know, a lot of orchids I find in the stores, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I've been in the wrong stores, but every store that I look at orchids, directions, instructions, how to take care of them, basically just put the ice cubes in there. And that's exactly what I did when she left her baby at my house. I saved the tag and I was following instructions how it's supposed to be, since it's not my plant and I'm supposed to take care of it and keep it alive. So I did my best, not realizing that it was all wrong. And I almost feel growers just band against us and they just want us to fail, because everywhere I look, instructions are just with ice cubes, and that's just so wrong. That's the way to never be able to rebloom your orchid or possibly kill it. So I want to share my journey, how I learned and what I do with them, and now I actually managed to rebloom them. This is the second year in a row that I was able to do it with all of them, well, except a few. I'll touch on this in a little bit. But basically, let's talk about watering. As I mentioned, the ice cubes is very bad idea. Please don't add ice cubes. So basically what I do personally, let me start and let me show you the blooms. So this is my miniature orchid. I would assume it's Phalaenopsis miniature. I don't know, maybe there is another name for it. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I just have a few and I enjoy them and I learn how to grow them and rebloom them. So basically this is a miniature one, and they usually come in a teeny tiny little planters, and usually those pots, they don't come with drainage hole, but they come in a little clear pot, which is an orchid pot. Obviously I like the ones with slits. They come in pots like this, just much smaller. And a lot of miniature ones, they do plant them in sphagnum moss, which I personally don't like sphagnum moss for a lot of different reasons, but I like orchid bark. That just works, and I choose to kind of repot them right away, because what I find myself, at one point I purchased the orchid and I didn't repot them, not realizing we don't know how long they've been sitting in that medium. We don't know, you know, what's in it. We don't know, and it does breaks down over the years. It really does. That's why actually a recommendation to repot the orchids every 2 years. So it depends obviously how fast they grow, how much roots they grow. So, and one time when I bought one, I did not repot it. I didn't know any better. And down the road, I was watering it and I'm looking at it and I found mushrooms. I'm not kidding. Throughout the whole entire pot inside of it, it was like little baby mushrooms growing everywhere. It was so gross. So I immediately took it all out. cleaned it and repotted, and I never had a problem since. So basically when I bring an orchid home, it doesn't matter if it's a miniature one or a larger one, I repot them right away and don't have problems anymore. So basically that's repot, I guess. But let's talk about watering. What I do with my orchids, I don't put ice cubes, because in those little pots with no drainage hole, and if you follow directions, and every week, every 10 days, whatever it says on instructions, you put a couple of ice cubes in there, and one, it's cold and they don't really like that, so you're basically shocking the roots. Second of all, when ice cube melts, some of it, yes, absorbs into the bark and it's great, but the excess of it will end up at the bottom of your pot and it will sit there and sit there and sit there. And what happens after, your orchid might not die, but it will never rebloom. It will not grow, it will not rebloom, because there's gonna be some roots that just rotting there. And so not knowing that, once I realized that's the issue, I literally lifted up and I saw this much water sitting there that accumulated over time. And that's when I realized that's not the way to do it. So basically, what I like to do now to water, to avoid this issue, I always use a lukewarm water, and I use one of these containers. I basically fill it up water, you know, probably like just enough to basically put this guy in and have water sitting all the way up to here. And I have been using fertilizer, so there's orchid spray fertilizer. I started off with that because I'm, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert, so I'm still trying to figure out a lot of fertilizers, and I'm very, very careful with them. So I used the orchid spray fertilizer for a while and it works great. I didn't have any issues with that, but lately I've been using a Better Grow orchid fertilizer, Better Bloom. It looks like that. And I've been liking that. They respond pretty well to it. And what I basically do, there's a teeny tiny little scoop in there, and I put very, very, very tiny bit in there, and I don't measure anything, so, but I put a very, very tiny bit right into container, and then I fill it up with water. Here's my little chopstick, and I just mix it all up so it dissolves. And what I do is I basically take my orchid and I plop it in there and let it sit. It depends. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's longer. It depends if I got sidetracked and forgot about it. So when I do this about once a week with all of them, about once a week, it depends. Basically, what you need to do is to decide if it needs to be watered or not. Well, this one does needs to be watered, so let me show you. The roots, in fact, I'm going to show you a different one because it's better example here. So this one is not, it's not, you know, in bloom right now, but this one have a really insane root system, and basically you can tell when they need to be watered, where the root itself turns like kind of grayish silver color. It's not that, you know, like even inside the pot you can see it right here, it's kind of grayish silver, and that's when you know it's time to water them, because once they get watered, the roots, they turn green and bright, and I don't think I have any that they all needs to be watered, so they all basically look the same right now. So that's when I know. And it basically, for me, it's about once a week, so sometimes every 10 days. So you just kind of take a look at your orchid and you'll know. Oh, the pots, you can keep them in the store pots, it's absolutely fine, as long as you make sure there is no water sitting at the bottom. I like the pots with holes. I like those kind, and I don't know, I feel like just better airflow, so I like those. But do keep in mind, in those kind of pots it dries out much faster. So Another thing which is very, very important, I usually water all my orchids at the sink. I literally just plop this thing in the sink and put them in, one at a time, obviously. So I water them there, and of course when I water my orchids, that's when my family needs a sink immediately. They just can't wait. And so there's always some drips of water gets into the crown of my orchid. If the crown of the orchid is like right over here, so you want to make sure after you're done watering, there is no water sitting in the crown, because it will rot them out. So what I basically do, if the water gets in there, what I basically do, I just take a little piece of paper towel, I just take a tiny little corner and I just dab it in there and make sure all of the water soaked up, so this way you don't throw out your orchid. Another thing, when you are every week when I water my orchids, and I'm kind of weird about dust, so I do wipe them down. Let me see here. I do wipe them down. The important part is make sure when you wipe them down, I take wet paper towel and basically just wipe the top of the leaves. Don't ever wipe the bottom of the leaves. I guess that's where the breathing mechanism of orchid is, so you don't want to damage that. And besides, there is no dust collecting at the bottom of the leaves. So that's basically my care tips on them. They're pretty easy. I think really the main thing is just get the timing of watering down. Basically every environment, every house gonna be different on humidity and light. Oh, let's talk about light. I think that's pretty important. So my little tiny orchids, they live on the north window. They always have since the day one I purchased them, and I have 3 of them. And they love it there. They get bright and direct light all day long, and plus being on the window, orchids to be able to rebloom them, they need that little drop of the temperature at night. And because they're on the window, naturally the temperature will drop at night. This way I don't have to create the environment, which is kind of nice. I don't want to change my temperature constantly every single night. So they love it there. They really, I have no trouble with them there. My larger orchids, which is, I also have 3 of them. So my larger orchids, they live in my laundry room. I don't know if you guys seen my house tour video, but they're in my laundry room. They're on the east window, and they do get that sun, gentle morning sun in the morning only. And sometimes during the summer, they do get a little burned. So that's to keep in mind. If you have eastern window, they will like it, but maybe pull it back a little bit in the summertime. So but I personally find that north window really works well. If you're gonna have it in the south window, I would pull it back a little bit. So basically just don't want sun hitting the leaves because it will burn them, but they do want light. So that's basically on that. I think I covered everything. If not, let me know. So now I can show you what I have, and I don't really plan to expand my orchid collection too much because I'm very limited on how much space I have for them. So basically I'm just gonna stick to what I have and just enjoy what I have. The only thing, there's a few orchids that I'm kind of dipping my toes into. I might purchase a few, which is a jewel orchids. I will get to it in a minute, but let me show you my Phalaenopsis collection first. And the reason I really wanted to, show you these now, because they are in bloom. Not all of them, but they are in bloom, and they're so beautiful. So you guys seen this guy quite a bit. So this is just a regular Phalaenopsis. I don't remember what color this one is. One thing I know, I don't have a white one, and I really like the white one at some point, maybe. So I have this guy right here, and it's healthy, it's beautiful, it's doing great. And so my next one, this one was a rescue. So it hasn't really bloomed for me yet, but it was a rescue. It's a funny story. I was watching this video on YouTube. It was some guy was showing a video of him rescuing an orchid, and I thought it was so cool. And he was very knowledgeable. He obviously knew exactly what he was doing. At that point, I only had one orchid. I had no clue what I'm doing. I was struggling to rebloom him, and I thought that was so cool. I want to rescue an orchid. I can do this. That looks so easy. So I went to the store. It was one of those big box stores, and they happened to have dead orchids there. So they always kind of do. So if you want to experiment, don't be afraid, go for it, do it. So I bought a few plants and I brought the orchid home, and my husband, he's like looked at me funny and he's like, honey, you do know that you bought a dead plant? I'm like, yep, totally aware of it. He really was questioning my sanity at this point, because he's like, okay, enough that there's so many plants are coming to this house, now dead plants coming to this house. And I keep telling him, it's okay, I have a project I'm gonna work on. I need a dead orchid. I'm not gonna kill mine to, you know, try to do this. So, but if you're not a plant person, you won't understand. So, but basically this guy was a rescue. He was in pretty bad shape, and you can see some older leaves are still kind of, you know, they never really kind of recovered. So, but the new leaves are doing good. I mean, it needs to be watered, but the new leaves seem to be doing really, really good. And the root system, it's still, it's there, it's good, but I feel like it's still growing new roots. So, and I mean, I was able to save it. That's pretty damn good. So hopefully one of those days I would just, you know, it would bloom for me. So we'll see. If it does, I will let you know. So my last large Phalaenopsis is this guy, and it's so beautiful. And I actually have two spikes on it, which is so cool. These are so pretty. I love them. They're just, and this one's like, it's been reblooming every single year, and I love the back. It's yellow. It's pretty cool. The buds, I think they're all opened up. I mean, there's new growth there, but the buds, when they all close, they actually look completely yellow. So it's definitely a surprise when they open up and they are purple, and like it's orange and purple. It's pretty cool. It's definitely a nice surprise to see all this burst of color. Not really expecting, you know, from the yellow bud, I guess. So, and the miniature orchids, and these are the ones that you would find in a store that comes in those teeny tiny little pots. In fact, actually, I can show you the pots that they usually come in. So I end up reusing them for my McCoys. So they usually come like in pots like this little. So, and it's fine actually to keep them in those little pots for about a year, and you're gonna want to repot them. You're gonna see roots are just bursting out of it, so you're gonna want to repot them after a year. I would still suggest to repot them, like put new media in there right away, and still keep them in a tiny little pot for a little while. And a year later, you might want to go up a size, and I would only go up one size. So this is basically this guy came in this tiny little thing, and it was fine. The leaves were much smaller. Everything, it's got way too big. So I definitely had to go up a size. So that's basically my other one. I don't remember what color it is going to be, but I do have 2 flower spikes right here. There is one right here, and I believe, yeah, and there is another one right over here. So this is pretty cool. So I'm gonna have 2 flower spikes on this guy, which is pretty amazing. So another one I have, still don't remember what color it is. They bloomed last year. They bloomed every single year for me, but I don't remember. It's been a year. So, and this one is, and I believe in miniatures I do have one white one, I believe so. I hope so. I don't know. So this one only have 1 flower spike right here, and it's about to ready to bloom. So I want to say maybe another week or so, and it should be blooming. So this one is No, it's pretty, it's one spike, but it's also kind of seven, like divides here, so it's gonna be two kind of, I don't know. So, but it's gonna be blooming. I can't wait to see what color is that one. And you guys have seen this little guy right here. I love it. This one, the first out of three, which is funny because I bought them at the same time. They were blooming at the same time. But now they seem like they're on different schedules. So this one decided to bloom first. It's actually opened up just a few days ago, so you can really see there is still a lot of buds there, and it's still growing. There is going to be more growth here. So that's my last miniature orchid. So basically I have 3 large ones, 3 little ones. So another thing that I have decided to try on, and I gotta tell you, I will probably fail, I almost guarantee you. So I don't know too much information on these, but these are miniature orchids, and they're so cute. But keep in mind, if you guys want to get one of these, let me show it to you. They're so adorable. I mean, they're so teeny tiny. And what I did not realize when I was buying them, you gotta water them every single day. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know if I can do that. So basically what I do, I don't water them every day. I water them every 2-3 days, and I keep them in my grow cabinet, which is humidity in there is about, well, sometimes it's 70, sometimes it's 80, I don't know, it depends on the day. So it's pretty high humidity in there. So I basically just hung them on top there. So this way at least I can water them every other day or every few days. And there's another one that I have. I don't remember names for either one of them. Like I said, I'm new to them. I don't know. I'm still learning about them. At this point, I'm just trying to keep them alive. So once I learn a little bit more, I will touch more on them and tell you guys. But there is new roots growing. I mean, it seems like it's doing something. So, but there is another one I have. It's pretty cute. I mean, they're very, very little and cute. So hopefully I will learn how to take care of them. And the way I water them, that's basically the only information I can give you for now, is I use one of these squeezy bottles, and basically I just stick it into this, you know, the spot in the sphagnum, and I just squeeze a little bit of water and just kind of let it absorb. And once all the sphagnum is evenly absorbed, basically they are watered and they go hang in my back in their home. So these two, I'm not sure, maybe I will master them, I don't know, we'll see. So if you guys have more information on those, let me know. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, I'm still learning, I'm just sharing my experience with you. So another ones that I really, really love, and I have a feeling I will succeed at those, is let me look it up, the names here. Just this one right here. These are jewel orchids, and I find them to be so beautiful. This one is Ludisia Discolor. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see, oh, the veining, it's unbelievable. The dark velvet leaves, just so gorgeous. And the veining on this one is actually pink. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's pink and it's shimmery. I mean, these are beautiful. And what I find, it's actually pretty easy. I never had those before. This is the first time I'm growing them. What I did, they arrived to me completely in sphagnum moss, and I guess you can do that, I'm not sure. So, but what I did, I used basically regular soil that I use for my Hoyas, which is the chunky mix. With like orchid bark and perlite and charcoal. And what I did, I put a little bit of sphagnum moss in it, so this way it retains the moisture, because these guys, all I know, they do like moisture. They do like to stay moist, not drenched, but moist. And actually in my care, and I have them about maybe a month, and in my care I got this new leaf right here that I've been showing to you because it's so beautiful. And I'm getting another one, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's another one is coming up. So far I have no trouble with this, guys. And what I know is Ludisia Discolor, it doesn't need to live in a special humidity cabinet whatsoever. You can keep in regular house humidity. I just put them there because I do have the, you know, cabinet like this, and but I do keep them kind of at the end of the cabinet, so this way not too much of the light, grow light hitting it, because from what I understand, they don't like too much direct bright light, so they're kind of in the corner. And at some point I will probably transition into my regular house and just have it, you know, somewhere where I could look at it more often. So another one I have, and man, this one is beautiful. I will probably butcher the name because I am not good at this. I can't even say the name. I'm trying here. I'm looking at my iPad and I don't think I can pronounce this, so I can't. I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. So it's something Chapaensis golden jewel orchid, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. I also got 2 leaves in my care from this one, so let's see here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but these are so beautiful, and it's again the dark green velvety look, and it has, I don't know if I can, oh, it's have this gold sparkly veins coming through, and they're not just gold, they actually shimmer and sparkle. It's pretty incredible. And so basically I got 1 leaf right here, and this is a new one unfurling, same medium as the other one. Basically I just water them, I don't know, maybe every 5 days or so. I kind of check, because like I said, the humidity in my grow cabinet does changes, so I kind of check on them. You want them moist, you don't want them soaked, and I just water them, and they seem to do very, very well. So that's basically it. And there is another one that I ordered, and I have no luck with those. I don't know, one day I will own it, but the name for it is McCoys Pitola Lightning Bolt Orchid. I want one. I will find a picture, I will insert it here so you can see what it looks like. And I already lost 2 of them. I purchased from, I'm not gonna say where I purchased from, and I don't want to blame anyone for anything, but I got 2 from one seller, and both of them did not make it. And the reason why I believe they did not make it, they came way too small. I mean, they were very, very tiny. It's actually in one of my videos. I think it's my houseplant tour videos. I don't remember. I think it's the second one that I was showing them, and I was so excited, but they were so teeny tiny, and I think they just did not do well with shipping, and they just were way too young to be transport, and so they just didn't make it. So I failed at 2 of those already, and they died pretty quickly actually. I ordered another one from the same seller that I got my bigger jewel orchids, and I had such a good luck. Twice he sent it to me, and twice it was amazing. Mind you, it was freezing cold at that time, and I was so surprised that they came in such a great shape. And I was also surprised because this seller, he makes his own boxes, so they basically come kind of, they're interesting, let me put it this way. They don't really connect very well, but hey, he got it. I don't care how he ships it to me. He got it. They come healthy, they come in great shape, and all he does, mind you, it was freezing cold, he basically just takes a page, like magazine page, and wraps them in it, and then he puts it in literally just 1 page, just rolled in a tube, and he puts them in there, and then they're like handmade boxes that kind of not connecting. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't care. Honestly, both of them came in a great shape, and I did ordered lightning bolt orchid, the McCoys Pitola from him, because I'm like, well, I had such a good luck with twice in horrible weather, so I'm gonna do this again and give it McCoys Pitola another shot, because I really, really like them. I think they're the most beautiful jewel orchids. And with my luck, it got lost in the mail, so I don't know if I'm still waiting. It's been more than 10 days. It's kind of not good, so I'm still kind of waiting. I contact the seller, and we'll see if he'll be able to replace it or not. So far seems like a nice guy, and I hope I will either get this one and still alive, or you know, hopefully they'll replace it, because I feel like they're so beautiful and I would love to have that. And basically, as of Orchid Collection, that's probably as far as I would expand, to be honest with you, because as many plants I have, which I have quite a lot, and I like them all. So I do find myself, Hoya is the ones that I'm really leaning towards to more. So I'm definitely Hoya head. So I try not to expand my collection in other, you know, plant geniuses, families, whatever it is. So I'd rather get more Hoyas. So saving space for that. So basically, this is it, you guys. I hope this video would be helpful. Obviously, you know, for beginners, I think it should be. For people who are experts, they probably know better than I am, and it's okay. If you're more of the expert, definitely look up some other people about who talks about orchids. But this is it from me, and I hope it was good. And if you guys like it, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.